right. So this is been a while since we did another episode of Clash Lords 2, but here we go. So where have we been so far? So last time, I believe we said we are going to get a champion, and we're going to move them around, and that champion was this one right here, Thunderbird. We said we're going to move him in mid lane, along with making Renavens in the top left corner, and keeping Enchantress where they're at. We did what we said. However, we broke one of our promise, which was we were gonna put money into this game. Unfortunately, we gotta put money into this game to some degree. Because it takes way too long to get a new champion, especially new ones. If you're trying to put out these videos consistently out, which is just not realistic, right? So we gotta put some juice in the box, but it's not that much. It's enough to do what needs to be done and move on to the next task. And then we have ourselves two of these champions. They were Wolf and Blockhead. I've gone ahead, and because we put some cash into this, both of these are better than Blockhead because they provide more consistent taunt. Like this right here is a taunt. The passive is a taunt. There's a charm, so it's also a taunt. And then there's her ultimate, which is essentially a taunt as well, right? So all three of those are taunts. So she has a much more consistent level of taunting. And the ultimate creates another hero from the enemy team. So she can essentially create a tank for herself without needing to take on the heat of the damage, which is nice. As for her, she creates her own small tank, which is the blue imp. Then you got the yellow, which taunts, then the red, which damages. As you can see, those three right there. This one, so basically every time they have a clone, she creates an imp of any of these three categories. So it just increases the chance of it being the taunting amp, which is good. Out of all these three amps, I would say, yeah, I'd say all of them are. I'd say these two are the best. I'm not too sure about the blue one, because she is rarely in a position where she is getting attacked herself. Rarely. But it works out similar to Foxy here, which basically creates a clone of the enemy team and stuns the enemy team for a period of time. So you essentially create yourself your own personal tank, and you still have like ultimate, all that stuff. And then the ultimate on Empress right here, you got yourself a super imp, which in a way, or chaos amp, that's what they call it, and it basically taunts and is stealing debuff and etc. All that stuff. That's essentially what it does. It's like a combination of all three of these two. It's bigger, so way more health. It taunts, and it does a crap ton of damage, and it protects her. So yeah, so that's what the chaos amp essentially is. So ultimately, I would say that Foxy is a much better version of Blockhead in the sense of the taunting. However, I do believe that late game that Blockhead is a better champion. I don't know if Foxy, when she is like full on like ultimate, if she can taunt multiple. No, she only replicates one. Right? She still only replicates one target. She doesn't replicate multiple targets. And so So like I'd say late game, like Pisces, like divine, not a divine, when you're enlightened, maybe that's when blockhead really starts to come in. As for Wolf, the best part of him is always the walls. The second part of him is the taunt that he goes into human form. But as we always discussed in the past, it always switches very quickly. He goes to the wolf and becomes a target and dies quickly. Not something that we can't really have. That's not very... Like if he didn't switch. If this dude did not switch, that's it. If he did not switch, he would be quite literally the best tank in the game. But he does, so fuck it. And then as for landslide, we already know when this guy is on the station, he decides to just go ahead and jump across the map, leave everybody open to attacks. So he's not very good at being on here. However, if you remove that, landslide is the best champion for tanking in the game. Period. No questions. And it is controlled. So that's going to move into our next step of what we're going to be working towards in terms of champions. But before we get there, let's talk about other things. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the base. So we've upgraded our town hall to level 20, which is great. And we've also caught up with these gold vaults and everything, so they're like 19, etc. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to focus the remainder of the time getting everything else to level 19 and then everything to level 20. So we're not going to go past 20. We need to make sure everything on the ground here is level 20 first before we move to 20, because 20 is going to be a big boost in terms of health. That is a lot of that is quite a lot when you think about everything here being level 20. Then you got the science center. We definitely went quite a bit. We're level 10 here. Defense is reflection is 8, so we're definitely trucking towards a very, very strong base. So that's essentially the idea for the base in a way. So now let's finish up with champions. So this does tie to the base, weirdly enough, when it comes to the champions here. And how it does is essentially back to the landslide argument where we said he can't be on the stations or the halls because he ends up flying across the map. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, let me go ahead and just show you right here. It's the fortitude. After 3 enemy heroes are placed, he teleports to the closest one and deals damage, right? But this guy is all about taunting surrounding enemies, and he is massively strong at that, right? And then his ultimate essentially drops a massive rock on people or himself and basically eliminates the ability to have immortality, and all shields are removed from him. Basically, he's like he completely stomps on debuffs when he stomps on the ground. That's what the stomp is. So he allows everybody that's around him to basically quickly kill any target that was already very strong at what they were doing. That's landslide. So how do we take care of this issue so he can still be the best tank possible? Well, that's the next step. It's called Bastion. You have right here what are called reserve formations. Then you got a defense and offense. Essentially, what it does, you see this massive circle right here? What it does is similar to your defense's range of attack. or influence. Bastion's range of attack and influence allows it to not only attack incoming targets, but it also allows it to deploy heroes that are inside of it. And the higher your rank are in Battle Square, the higher you are, the more slots you unlock here in defense and in offense. So we're going to unlock every single offense, every second defense, and have a crazy ton of project power when we attack. So that would increase our ability to do Lord's League significantly much more powerful. We have way more trophies, etc., etc. So there are two champions that are coming to the top of my head that I think that we should put right here, right off the bat. Actually, I would say about 3. And those champions to me are Landslide, the consistent taunt, followed by Great Sage to eliminate the enemy team from using their abilities. Now this is very interesting. The reason I say that is because if they've dropped their targets down here and they're attacking, they're probably already used a large portion of their ultimates. Not necessarily the passive, but most specifically the ultimate. However, we are dealing with Bastion conversation right now. So when they do attack, expect people to also have Bastions of higher levels. So the Great Chase essentially stops all these offensive Bastion targets that are coming to attack us as well. So we're able to create that defense and stop them from using their abilities, etc. So Landslide gives us the taunt that we need and provide a sense of security for these two front lines so that they don't have to take too much of the brunt of the action. Wherever it may be, whether it's in the back, side, and the position of it really protects your revives as much as possible. And then Great Sage comes in, stops people from using their ultimates and abilities as well. And then from then on, it's anything. You know, we could go another tank and another healer, you know, or something. We could do Wolf. Say we throw a Wolf in there, or Blockhead, right? The ultimate, all the small taunting. There you go. Because by then, I'd expect a lot of ground minions to be destroyed by then, right? So he could just get to work and start actually providing aid towards towards taunting the enemy heroes. Same thing. And then we put Abyss Demon right after him, right? So you get the idea. So that's essentially what we're going to be doing for that. So it works out really, really well. It's actually quite OP because these 3 champions right here, they are all about reviving, right? We already know about Renee, but this guy does the same thing. He revives, so but it's only on Fortitude. So when you're defending and he dies, he basically revive anybody that has died before him, right? So revival, all dead alive. Yeah, so anyone who's died before him revives, which is why it is instrumental for this champion to be positioned in the middle, right? Makes sense. Because if he was on the side and he's the first one to get hit, taken care of, passive goes off, right? And I don't know if he revives himself. You know, I really don't. Does does he revive? It says all dead. It's allied, not himself. So all allied heroes. So that means that there needs to be a target that's gonna bring him back to some degree. You know. So this is easy taken care of by Enchantress and Renee. And Renee revives anybody and revives ultimates. So essentially what you have a very consistent, a very strong redundancy. Think of these three as like the Raptor engines on the SpaceX rocket. The three ones that are used to land it. You have so much more consistency that the chance of, even if one fails, the other two will be able to quickly pick it up. So, and all you need is just one to land. So there you have it. That's essentially the base, the main core of what's going to be going on for the upcoming weeks. So let's go ahead and list them out. Number 1, increase every level of every base, tower, building to level 20 before we move to level 21. Number 2, improve our ranking in the Bastion in order to have more heroes be used in the back, such as Landslide, Great Sage, Blockhead, and Abyss Demon. Number 3, I'd say just have fun. Number 3, I'd say just have fun. Oh, and of course, you get way more trophies so that people can actually start attacking us. Because it's like, why are you so high? I want to attack you. We can actually see, the beauty of people attacking the base and failing. That's fun. And then get even more levels off of that. And more people attack you. Because it's like, why are you all the way up here? I want to attack you. You have an interesting base. Right? So, that's what we're going to be doing. Yeah, I think that's it. Have a good one.